Hello, I am Nick Lampernakis, and this is my 15112 term project for spring 2016. So I decided to build a strategy board game for my term project, which is very similar to the game Axis and Allies, although instead of being based on World War II, my game is based on The Lord of the Rings. So let's get started with a new game. So first of all, it's going to prompt you to choose a save file. So we'll go ahead and choose file 1. And then here it brings you to the game screen. So over here we basically have the game board, which is supposed to represent a map of Middle Earth. And so the game, it can be played with 2 to 7 players, and each player will control one of the 7 powers. So these powers are divided into 2 separate alliances. We have the Servants of Sauron, which would be like the bad guys. They include Saruman, who's over here, Rhûn, Mordor, and Harad. And then we have the Free People of Middle Earth, and those include Rohan, Gondor, and the Elves. And so they're all listed down here. This little table which shows how much gold they all have and the number of victory cities. The victory cities are important because that is how you win the game, is by having your alliance control a set number of victory cities. In this case, since I started at a major victory, that would be you need 12. The other 2 options that you saw on the home screen would be more or less than that. And that just allows you to choose a game that would last for a longer or shorter period of time. So anyway, if we look down here, it says to press H to view the help screen. So we'll go ahead and do that. And this kind of just gives you all the instructions. There are a lot of rules in this game, so I'm not going to go into detail of all of them, but you could flip through here to view them all. Another thing you can do is take a look at the unit stats. So in the game, there are 4 different types of units. The attack and defense stats just represent how strong they are in attack and defense. Move represents how many spaces the unit can move in a turn. Cost is then how much gold it would cost to build the unit. And then opening fire is a special attribute that only the archer unit has, and that becomes important in the battles, which I'll get to as I demonstrate the game. So if we go back here, we can actually get started. So each player's turn consists of 5 different phases. The first phase is the production phase. So basically in that phase you get to produce new units. So you can go ahead and click on them up here, and you drag them down into this little new unit box. And they just kind of stay there until you place them at the end of your turn. So you'll notice as I'm buying these, the amount of gold is decreasing by their price. So you're limited to only buying as many units as you can afford. So now I'm down to 0, so it won't let me get another unit. Then if I decide I don't want one, I can just kind of pull it out, but I'm going to go ahead and take that back. So once you've bought all the units you want to buy, we can go ahead and move on to the next phase. So the next phase is the combat move phase. This is where you get to move your units to attack enemy territories. So right now I am Saruman, who's over here. Oh yeah, another thing you can do is you can zoom in using the plus key, and then scroll around with the arrow keys. So it makes it a little easier to see. So then you just kind of drag your units into enemy territories to attack them. So I could take this guy, move him in here. Maybe move this guy too. And maybe we'll attack another territory as well. So, I don't know. We'll stick that guy here. I'll stick him here. Now, most of the units can only move 1, but this is the mounted unit can move 2 spaces. So this guy can move here and here, so he can still go here. And we'll just kind of do that. Okay, so let's say maybe that's all the attacking I want to do. So I'll go ahead, the next button, and then you'll see the territories that I have decided to attack have become highlighted. And yeah, we're now in the conduct combat phase. So I can choose which one I want to do the battle on first. So let's do this one first. and then it pops up this battle board. So in the battle board, it basically represents the battle mechanics of the game. So basically how it's working is it's based on like dice rolling. We can actually see the dice rolling here because it's kind of simulated in the background, but it'll go through all the stages of the battle. So the first stage is the opening fire, which I talked about with the archers have this ability. Basically what this means is they get to fire before any of the other unit types, so that if they get hits, any of the casualties of those hits don't get a chance to fire back. So here the attacker got one hit, so the defending player would then have to choose one of their units to become a casualty. So we'll say they choose this guy, the spearman here, and then the number goes down. And then we go into the attacker gets to do their regular fire, and now they got 2 hits. So it ends up that both of these units will die. But then the defender got a chance to fire back, so they got 1 hit. So now the attacker has to choose a casualty, and they do. And since all the defending units died, then they gain control of the territory, and now it's become red. So now I can go into the next battle, and here the attacker, there's no opening fire here because there are no archers. So we got 1 hit, so they choose 1. And so you notice the defending fire didn't come up. That's because they the defenders didn't get any hits, so it'll just skip on to the next phase because there's nothing for you to do. So this now gives us the option to continue the attack or retreat. So if we choose to attack, it'll basically just repeat the process over, and you can keep doing that until one side runs out of units, or perhaps maybe you don't think you're going to win anymore, you can decide to retreat. Now, I'd probably win here, but just for sake of demonstration, I will retreat. And now it'll give me the option of the territories I can retreat to. So basically, you have to retreat to friendly territory that's bordering where you just attacked. So I can either go here, here. I'll choose this one. And now I have to drag my units. Oops. There we go. Drag them into this territory. And there we go. Oh, wait, there's one more. There we go. And now it's no longer highlighted once I move them all in here. So now that all the combats have been completed, I go to the next phase. This is the non-combat move phase. So basically, this allows you to move any of the units that you haven't already moved in the combat phase, and you're able to move them within friendly territories. So here I could like just move this guy. He can only move 1 space. Move him here, move that guy there, so on. The mounted units can still move 2. But notice, see, these units here, I can't pick them up because they already moved, so I cannot move those. Nice. And then finally we have the placement phase. So basically all the units that I purchased I have to put back on the board somewhere. You have to put them where you have a victory city. In this case I only have 1 victory city, so they all have to go here. So I basically would just take them, drag them in like this, and then once they're all in, that is the end of my turn. So I hit next, and you'll notice here the gold count was updated. So at the beginning of my turn I spent all the gold and I had 16, and now I have 17 because I gained this extra territory with a value of 1. So now I have 17 gold. So now the next player is Rohan, and they would get to do the same thing, and this basically goes on and on until the game eventually ends. So yeah, we can go back to the home screen, and then, so say we were playing that game, and maybe we want to come back, I could reload the game, hitting the load game, and then since we saved it in file 1, and here we are back in the same position with everything in the same place. Yeah. So that's basically how my turn project works. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.